Hare, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Tonight, reciters are Sakshi Mataji will be reciting in Sanskrit and Dharmendra Prabhuji will be reciting in English from Canto 3, Chapter 25, verses 1 to 15. So, Sakshi Mataji, whenever you're ready, can you please start with invocation 3 times? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Tonight we are reciting from Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 1. Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilasthatva-sankhyaता Bhagwanatma-mayaya Jata Swayamaja Sakshat Atma Pratyapate Nrunam.
Sri Shugawacha said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni. By his internal potency, he descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the human race.
Text 2. Narasya Varshanaha Pumsam Varinah Sarvayoginam Vishruto Shrutadevasya Bhuri Trupyanti Time Savaha.
Sunak continued, there is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses.
Text 3. Yat yat vidhate Bhagavan Swachandatmatmayaya Tani me Shraddha-dhanasya Kirtanyanya-nukirtayah.
Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is full of self-desire and who assumes all these activities by his internal potency.
Text 4. Sutta Uvacha Dvaipanayah sakastvaevam Maitreyo Bhagavanstata Prahedam Viduram Prita Anvikshikyam Prachoditah.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, the most powerful sage, Maitreya, was a friend of Vasudeva. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows.
Text 5. Maitreya Uvacha Pitari Prastiteranyam Matuh Priya Chikirshayah Tasmin Bindu Sare Swati Bhagwan Kapila Kila.
Maitreya said, when Kardama left the forest of Lord Kapila, stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovar to please his mother Dehuti.
Text 6. Tamasinam akarmanam tattva margagra darshanam swasutam devahutyaha dhatu sansmarati vachaha.
When Kapila, who could show her the ultimate goal of the absolute truth, was sitting leisurely before her, Dehuti remembered the words Brahma had spoken to her, and she therefore began to question Kapila as follows.
Text 7. Devahutiruvacha Nirvinam nitaram bhuman asat indriya darshanat yena sambhavyamanena prapannadham tamah prabho.
Dehuti said, I am very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses, for because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance.
Text 8. Tasya tvam tamasondasya dushpara satyparagam sachakshu janmanam ante labdam me tvad anugrahat.
Your Lordship, in my only means of getting out of this darkness region of ignorance, because you are my transcendental eye, which, by your mercy only, I have attained after many births.
Text 9. Yadyo bhagavan pumsam ishvaro vai bhavan kila lokasya tamasandhasya chakshu surya ivoditah.
You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin, the Supreme Lord of all living entities. You have arisen to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of the ignorance of the universe.
Text 10. Athame deva sammoham apakrushtam tvamarhasi yovagroham mametitya itesmin yojitastavya.
Now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. Due to my feeling of false ego, I have been engaged by your Maya, and have identified myself with the body, and consequently bodily relations.
Text 11. Tvam gataham sharanam sharanyam svabhrutya samsarataroh kutharam jigyasayaham prakrute purushasya namami sattarma vidam varishtham.
Dehuti continued, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only person of whom to take shelter. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you, who are the greatest of all transcendentalists, and I inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman, and between spirit and matter.
Text 12. Maitreya Uvacha Iti swamutirnirvatyam ipisitam nisamya pumsam avapavagravardhanam diya bhinatyatmavatam satam gatir babasha isha smit shobhitanana.
Maitreya said, after hearing of his mother's uncontaminated desire for transcendental realization, the Lord thanked her within himself for her questions, and thus, his face smiling, he explained the path of the transcendentalists who are interested in self-realization.
Text 13. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yoga Adhyatmikah Pumsam Mato Nishreya Sayami Atyanto Paratiryatra Dukkhasya Cha Sukhasya Cha.
The personality of Godhead answered, the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, which is meant for the ultimate benefit of the living entity and which causes detachment from all happiness and distress in the material world, is the highest yoga system.
Text 14. Tamimam te pravakshami yamavocam puranaghe Rushinam shrotu kamanam yogam sarvangane punam.
O most pious mother, I shall now explain unto you the ancient yoga system, which I explained formerly to the great sages. It is serviceable and practical in every way.
Text 15. Chetah kalvasya bandhaya मुक्तये चात्मनो मतं गुणेषु सक्तं बन्धाय रतं वा पुंसि मुक्तये.
The stage in which the consciousness of the living entity is attracted by the three modes of material nature is called conditioned life, conditional life. But when that same consciousness is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is situated in the consciousness of liberation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and please forgive me for any mistakes I committed while reciting. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Very nice recitation, Sakshi Mataji and Dharmen Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji. Okay, very beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you all the devotees for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and giving this opportunity to speak few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, we shall offer our Mangalacharan prayers. Om. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतं स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृसतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकस्धन्यं स्वस्ताय नमः। कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेषा पुराणार्को अधिनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। अतिविश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिद्रुं पाण्डुषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषयमतिर्मदपते असकृत् रतिमुद्वाहतरद्धगङ्गवभूदन्वति। श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख वृष्ण वृषभावनिधृग्राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजय सुराट्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न अपुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मर्त्यानं किमुताशशः पुनश भूयात् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाः तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यामुपयामि सृष्टिं मैत्रिस्य सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेणानमतग्रहः व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादाश्रीविदितः सङ्गृह्णात् आकरव्रातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीम्। ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Okay, thank you for kindly waiting. Shall share my screen. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the beautiful part of our life, Srimad Bhagavatam. Just by hearing the name of Srimad Bhagavatam, we feel so much of happy. Okay, so in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have been discussing third canto, chapter 25. It is the Bhakti Yogam. So Bhakti Yogam, it is Kapila Bhagavan, glories of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, the glories of devotional service. Kapil Bhagavan describing Bhakti Yoga to Devhuti. Okay, so that one. So here the context of this one. So in the 24th chapter, so Kadama Prajapati, the husband of Devhuti, he has gone to the forest for the tapasya to completely engage himself in the devotional service. Later on, Devhuti at home, and Kapil Bhagavan has given permission to the Kadama Prajapati to leave. So Kapil Bhagavan would take care of his mother. So here he has been staying in the that ashrama. So that ashrama is the it is called it is nearer to the Saraswati river. So Pitari Prasiti Aranyam Matuhu Priya Chikishaya. So to please his mother, Matuhu Priya Chikishaya, to perform good things for her, for his mother. So Tasmin Bindusare Avasit Bhagwan Kapilaha Kila. Tasmin Bindusare Avasit. So that ashrama is nearer to the Bindusaravara. Bhagavan Kapilaha Kila. So that is the place where they have been living. Now Kapil Bhagavan and Devhuti. So now, because the Devhuti's husband, he has left the forest. Now she feel once the husband who has lived with a wife for so long and if he leaves, it is very difficult to bear the separation. Okay, now in order to get relief from such kind of attachment, bodily attachments, now Devhuti approaching Kapil Bhagavan to cut the knot with the attachment to this material world. So there, tamasinam akarmanam tattvamargagradarhanam swasutam devhutyaha dhatuhu samsmariti vachaham. So remembering the words of Brahma, so Brahma has said to Devhuti that Eshamanvite garbham pravishtaha kaitabhardhanaha avidyasam se grindim chitvagam vichirishyati. So the Lord is appearing from your womb and then he will cut the avidya samsya grandim. Chitvagam vicharishyati avidya samsya grandin. That knot he will cut and then he will wander around the world. Chitvagam vicharishyati. Likewise, Brahma said, now those now Devhuti is remembering those words. Swasutam Devhuti aha dhatuhu samsmariti vachaha. Remembering Brahma's words, now she went to Kapila Bhagavan, who is a Tattva Marga Agaradarshanam, who can award the highest perfection of human life. Tattva Marga Agaradarshanam. And then Swasutam Devhuti aha. So now Devhuti is speaking to his son. So saying that, my dear son, I am being disturbed by the senses of this, my body. Likewise, starting Nirvinna Nitram Bhuman, Asad Indriya Tarshanat, they are agitating me too much. Yen Sambhavyamanena, Prapanandam Tamaha Prabho, I am surrendering myself to please help me to cut the knot of this material attachment so that I will be relieved. Likewise, Devhuti approached Kapil Bhagavan. तस्यत्वं तमसोऽन्धस्य दुष्पूरस्यध्यपारगं सचक्षु जन्मनामन्ते लब्धं मे त्वदनुग्रहात्. Saying that tasyatvam tamaso andhasya, tamasa andhasya, so ignorance and darkness. Dushparasya adyaparagam, you are the only one, so to make me to cross this ignorance and the illusions or darkness. Dushparasya adyaparagam, it is very difficult to cross. Dushparasya adyaparagam, today I am approaching you so that you will help me to cross this material science. This is ignorance and illusion or darkness. Satchakshuhu janmanamante. So Satchakshuhu, it is described like the eyes, the purified eyes, Satchakshuhu with the Shastra knowledge. And whenever we approach the spiritual master, he give the knowledge. He will open our eyes. Ajnan Timirandasya, Jnananjana Salakaya. So that way, that's in the similar way, Devhuti is approaching Satchakshu Janmanamante Labdhamit Vadhanugrahat. Now, after so many lifetimes, I have got this opportunity to associate with you, to learn from you. Labdhame Tvad Anugrahat. And here, now she understands that Kapil Bhagavan is Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Brahma says, Yesha Manavite Garbham Pravishtaha Kaita Bhardhanaha. In your womb, the Kaita Bhardhanaha is there. So remembering that, now she is approaching in that way, Satchakshu Janmanamante Labdhame Tvad Anugrahat. After so many lifetimes, you got Janmanam Ante, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavanamam Prapadyate. This is after so many lifetimes. Now, Devhuti is mentioning that Satchakshu Janmanam Ante, Labdham Me Tvadanugраhat. I have got this opportunity to learn from you. And then appreciating, glorifying the Kapil Bhagavan, that Yadhyo Bhagavan Pumsam Ishwaroi Bhavan Kila Lokasya Tamasa Andhasya Chakshuhu Surya Ivoditaha. And you are the Supreme Personality, Adhyo Bhagavan, Yadhyo Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pumsam Ishwaro Vai Bhavan Kila Lokasya Tamasa Andasya Chakshuhu Surya Ivoditaha. You have appeared just like a sun appeared to dissipate the darkness. Likewise, you have appeared to dissipate the darkness of these people who are engaged in the Karmanam Buddharanam Jataha. Brahma says that Hiranyakeshaha. So he mentioned Karmanam Buddharan Jataha. In order to elevate the people from the materialistic activities. Now, in such a way, she has, Devhuti has glorified Kapila Bhagavan and also asking what she wanted to Adhyaparagam, Dushpurasya Adhyaparagam. So just to make her to cross the materialness signs. So in such a way, she has approached it. This is a simple little recap. Now today we are covering that sloka 10 and 11. So here she is mentioning that, oh my dear Lord, so because of your external energy, which is the illusory energy, because of that all the living entities are bewildered and engaging themselves that aham mameti, it is me and everything belongs to me. I wanted to master it, I wanted to enjoy. In such a way, I am also influenced by your external energy. And now I would like to come out from this entanglement. So please help me in such a way. She is requesting Kapil Bhagavan. Okay, shloka recitation. Atme deva sammoham apakrishtum tvamarhasi yo avagrahaham mameti iti yetesmin yojitastvaya. Atame deva sammoham. So now, atame. So now, oh my dear Bhagavan, oh Deva, atame deva. Now, Kapil Bhagavan. Sammoham, the delusion, apakrishtum, to dispel. Atame deva sammoham, apakrishtum, tvamarhasi, tvamarhasi. So you, arhasi is, be pleased to dispel this delusion. Be pleased with me. Likewise, Devhuti is submitting her plea and also mentioning what is this dispel and by whose grace this dispel has come into this material world and covering everyone. She mentions, Yo avagraha aham mameti iti etasmin yojitastvaya. This everyone feels that yo avagraha, which is the misconception that aham, yo avagraha aham. Aham is I, mameti, it is mine, iti, thus, iti etasmin, in this way, yojitas tvaya, engaged, this is tvaya by you. This is your external energy.
So it tastes good then?
Okay, so likewise, yo avagraham aham mameti, iti etasmin yojitas tvaya. Likewise, she has put the plea in front of the Kapil Bhagavan. अतमेदेव सम्मोहम् अपाकृष्टुं त्वमर्हसि यो अवग्रह अहं ममेति इति एतस्मिन् योजितस्त्वया. The translation. Now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. Due to my feeling of false ego, I have been engaged by your Maya and have identified myself with the body and the consequent bodily relations. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, can I request two devotees to read first paragraph, one devotee, second paragraph, another devotee. Any volunteers, please?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Gayatri Mataji, first paragraph, second paragraph, Pati Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The false ego of identifying one's body as one's self and of claiming things possessed in relationship with this body is called Maya. In Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, the Lord says, I am sitting in everyone's heart, and from me comes everyone's remembrance and forgetfulness. Devahuti has stated that false identification of the body with the self and attachment for possessions in relation to the body are also under the direction of the Lord. Does this mean that the Lord discriminates by engaging one in his devotional service and another in sense gratification? If that were true, it would be an incongruity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but that is not the actual fact. As soon as the living entity forgets his real constitutional position of eternal servitorship of the Lord to the Lord and wants instead to enjoy himself by sense gratification, he is captured by Maya. This capture by Maya is the consciousness of false identification with the body and attachment for the possessions of the body. These are the activities of Maya, and since Maya is also an agent of the Lord, it is indirectly the action of the Lord. The Lord is merciful. If anyone wants to forget him and enjoy this material world, he gives him full facility, not directly, but through the agency of his material potency. Therefore, since the material potency is the Lord's energy, indirectly it is the Lord who gives the facility to forget him. Devahuti therefore said, My engagement in sense gratification was also due to you. Now kindly get me free from this entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, second paragraph, please.
By the grace of the Lord, one is allowed to enjoy this material world, but when one is disgusted with material enjoyment and is frustrated, and when one sincerely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, then the Lord is so kind that he frees one from entanglement. Krishna therefore says in Bhagavad Gita, first of all, surrender, and then I will take charge of you and free you from all reactions of sinful activities. Sinful activities are those activities performed in forgetfulness of our relationship with the Lord. In this material world, activities for material enjoyment, which are considered to be pious, are also sinful. For example, one sometimes gives something in charity to a needy person with a view of getting back the money 4 times increased. Giving with the purpose of gaining something is called charity in the mode of passion. Everything done here is done in the modes of material nature, and therefore all activities but service to the Lord are sinful. Because of sinful activities, we become attracted by the illusion of material attachment, and we think, I am this body. I think of the body as myself and of bodily possessions as mine. Devahuti requested Lord Kapila to free her from that entanglement of false identification and false possession. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is describing that the false ego of identifying one's body as oneself and of claiming things possessed in relationship with this body is called Maya. Because if it is our practical experience in our life, we have born to one particular parents, and now in due course of time, later on, in the name of education, in the name of job, in the name of marriage, in the name of relocation, going from one place to another place, and now the people are dispersed in different places of this world. Again, they are engaged in different kinds of activities. So this is nothing, no relation. Even though born to the one parent, he could not stay. It is by the external energy of the Lord. So these are all adhruvasya. Yad adhruvasya dehasya sanubhandasya dhurmatihi. Dhruvani manyate mohad. Dhruvani manyate mohad. Gruha kshetra vasunicha. This is mohat by illusory energy. So here the false ego of identifying oneself, claiming things possessed in relationship. This is sanubhandasya, relationship. Sa anubhandasya, durmatihi. This is all Maya, but we are not the body. In Joko Safa, it doesn't matter whatever the part of the world we are. And one day we have to leave this body, just vacate the body. So at that time we realize that, oh, it is not me. So I am separate from this body. This body is now buried. This body is now burnt. This body is now thrown into the water. So then we understand. At that time, if we have situated in the proper consciousness, then we go back to the Godhead. That is the real relationship, real place, back to Godhead. So in order to engage that in proper consciousness, Krishna gives the intelligence. So in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Lord says, can anyone say this particular shloka? What shloka Prabhupada is referring here? 15.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Matta smritir. Up.
No, it is Sarvasya Chaham Ruddhi Sanvishto.
Oh, yeah.
Then it, I can't remember the rest, but it is.
Mother said the second half. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Matta smritir gnanam apohanam cha.
Yes. Yes, that is the shloka. The first Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam cha. So Lord gives half. He makes remember to give share to the two devotees to share the verse, first two lines, 1 line 2. And Mataji, again this one comes from the Lord, sharing equally. So Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam cha. Even it is a small thing, but Lord gives the full intelligence. Lord manifests different pastimes for Madbhaktanam Vinodardham, to please the devotees. Okay, Devahuti has stated that a false identification of the body with the self and attachment for possessions in relation to the body are also under the direction of the Lord. These are all, there are three different energies. One is the superior energy, another one is the inferior energy, another one is marginal energy. So Vishnu Shakti para prokta kshetra kya tata para avidya karma sanyaya tritiya Shakti rishyate. The living entities belongs to the marginal energy, and they can be with the superior or inferior. All are different energies of the Lord. But the Lord also says, अपरेयम इतस्वन्याम विद्धि में पराम प्रकृतिम जीवभूत महाबाहो येदम धारिते जगत. This living entities belongs to my nature. Apareyam itasvanyam vidhi me param prakritim. It is para prakriti. But jiva bhota mahabhaho edam dharite jagat. Those living entities come into this material world. Okay, for Lord it was nature. It is because they want to enjoy separately from the Lord. So here again, this material nature is working. Maya adhyakshena prakritihi. Maya adhyakshena prakritihi. Suite sacharacharam. Okay. And then this living entities, one energy will dominate another energy. The material energy dominates the living entities, that marginal energy, when they come down to this material world. Okay, that's why it is called Maya. It is Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhuratyaya. It is very difficult to come out from this Maya. Okay, and does this mean that Lord discriminates by engaging one in devotional service and other in sense gratification? If that were true, it would be an incongruity on the part of the Supreme Lord. But Lord says, Krishna never says anything that I am partial to one. But Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu, Samoham sarvabhuteshu, na me dveshosti na priyaha. I do not envy anyone. I do not also make anyone dearer to me. But yetu bhajanti mam, yetu bhajanti mam, and whoever is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I will reciprocate with them. Maite teshu chapyaham. So the way they are worshipping me, I will simply reciprocate in the similar way. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam satayva bhajamyaham. The way they are surrendering to me, I will reciprocate in the similar exact, in the similar degree. So this is the main thing. But here, Lord is equal to everyone. So as soon as the living entity forgets, forgets his real constitutional position of eternal relationship to the Lord, then wants instead to enjoy himself by sense gratification, he is captured by Maya. If he is not in Maya, it is not possible for him to enjoy, to fulfill all his desires. So Maya will come and dominate. But he thinks that I am the enjoyer. So this capture by Maya is the consciousness of the false identification. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma, he himself, he creates Sasajagri Anta Mishra Atata Mishra Mahamoham Cha Moham Cha Ajnanajam Tamaha. So he creates, before he creates the four Kumaras, he creates all these things, different kinds of ignorance elements. Mahamoham Cha Moham Cha Tamasaha Ajnanajam. So these are all 6 elements. And then later on, Brahma goes for purification because he is not happy. Because anyone who takes birth in this material world, automatically they are coming under Maya. Okay, these are the activities of Maya. And since Maya is also an agent of the Lord, it is indirectly the action of the Lord itself. That's why here Devapati is addressing Kapil Bhagavan as Iti etasmin yojitas tvaya. All this is because of you, O Kapil Bhagavan. Likewise, she addresses. And then Lord is merciful. If anyone wants to forget him and enjoy this material world, he gives him full facility, not directly, but through the agency of his material potency. So therefore, since the material potency is Lord's energy, indirectly it is the Lord and who gives the facility to forget him. So whenever again Kadma Prajapati in his prayers he was mentioning Naitad Batadisha Padam Tavechitam Yanmayanaha Tamase Bhota Sukshmam Anugrahaya Astu Apirhimaya Lasatulasya Bhagavan Vilakshitaham. Lasatulasya Bhagavan Vilakshitaha. When the Lord has appeared on Garuda on the sky, and here Kadma Prajapati on the land, he is offering his praise by falling down and the Chitolabdha Manoradaha, just Chitolab, just Dandrat Pranam and offering his praise that out of this praise, this is one of the shloka. My dear Lord, this is not your desire to create this material world. Naitad batadesha padam tavepsitam. Tava ipsitam. It is not your desire, padam, this material world. It is for our sake. So naitad batadesha padam tavepsitam. Yanmaya naha tanasya bhotu sukshmam. It is your external energy for ourselves. For ourselves. He creates that. It is our desire, living entity's desire. So he gives that facility through material potency. So therefore, since material potency is the Lord's energy, indirectly it is the Lord who gives the facility to forget him. So Devahuti therefore said, my engagement in sense gratification was also due to you. Now kindly get me free from this entanglement. The same thing, Devahuti, she also laments whenever Kadam Prajapati was about to leave. She mentions Saham Bhagavato Nunam Vanchita Maya Dhudam Yatvam Vimuktidam Prapya Namamukshay Bandhana. Even I am being cheated by the external energy of the Lord. Saham Bhagavato Nunam, definitely. Vanchita Maya Dhudam, being cheated by this external energy. Vanchita Maya Dhudam, very strong. Yatvam Vimuktidam Prapya Namamukshay Bandhana. Even though I got an opportunity to get reliefment from this material entanglement, but I did not ask for it. Likewise, she mentions to Kaddama Prajapati. Now she is mentioning the same similar statements to Kapil Bhagavan. This is iti etasmin yojitastvaya. Now, by the grace of the Lord, one is allowed to enjoy this material world, but when one is disguised with material enjoyment and is frustrated, and when one is sincerely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, then the Lord is so kind that he frees one from the entanglement. Okay, so this is what we have got our Varnashram Dharma. It describes the Purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is a proper stage, step by step, step by step. But in this material world, under the life, Prayen Alpaisha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha, and why the lifespan is very short. Prayen Alpaisha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha, Kalu, this because of this age of Kali. So people are less living and misfortunate, misguided. In this way, where do we get an opportunity to go dharma, artha, kama, and moksha gradually, step by step? We don't know when if you are just trying to in the first level itself, dharma itself. Then without knowing the supreme personality of God, if we just performing in this age, every moment is padam padam yad vipadam, padam padam yad vipadam, na tesham. Every moment there is a danger. We do not know when it will be coming to us. Nowadays, many people, even young people, are getting through so many diseases. It is very, very dangerous. So here, going through Dharma, Artha, Moksha, we do not know in which stage we will be perfected. We do not have that much time also. That is the urgency in this age. So that's why Srila Prabhupada spread Krishna consciousness as a matter of urgency. And the order of the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Okay, so that's why this Krishna consciousness, whoever comes to this process, first of all, he will be coming into the boat and then he keeping himself safe, then make his journey. Otherwise, if he's just to let me just go into the first, then perform dharma, later on artha, earning money, and then kama, and then finally I will take the boat. But by the time, whether you don't know whether you will be here or not, whether the boat will be there or not. So, but now you have got a boat, just climb onto the boat. Now you make your journey. You keep all your dharma and artha, everything linked with the Krishna consciousness and continue your journey. That is the shortcut. And it is always safe. Swalpamapyas dharmasya prayate mahto bhayat. There is neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya traiti matobhaya. If you are, because you are already safely in the boat, Krishna consciousness boat, you are in the protection of the Lord. So here, by the grace of the Lord, one is allowed to enjoy this material world, but one is disgusted with the material enjoyment and is frustrated. Without the frustration, one is completely thoroughly rejecting this material world. It is not that much easy to come to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, thoroughly, you need to reject every material sense enjoyment. Do not appreciate anything outside of Krishna consciousness. No appreciations. It doesn't matter whether it is a politician or artisan, or it doesn't matter. One should not appreciate anyone. Again, Savanaka said, he mentions, Swavit viraho ushtra karehi samstaha purushaha pasuhu naitkarna patopeto dhatunama gadagrijaha. If one is appreciating anyone who is not in Krishna consciousness, he fall into either a dog or a camel or a donkey or a vitviraha, a hog, the four animals. So here Prabhupada also mentions one should thoroughly reject the material sense enjoyment. Then he will progress in Krishna consciousness. So here, and then Krishna therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita, first of all surrender, and then I will take charge of you. So this is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papibhyo Mokshishyami Masuchaha. Mokshishyami Masuchaha. So do not worry, I will take charge of you. Okay? And I will free you from all kinds of miseries. So this particular statement, it is given only Krishna. There is no other alternative for Nanyatra Mad Bhagavataha Pradhana Purusheshwara. This again, it is described by Kapil Bhagavan itself later on. So this is Nanyatra. There is no other alternative. Nanyatra Mad Bhagavataha Pradhana Purusheshwara Atmanaha Sarubhotanam Bhayam Tivram Na Nivattate. Bhayam Tivram Na Nivattate. So apart from the Lord, there is no other shelter to free you from the fear of death. Apart from Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says that. Na anyatra. There is no other alternative. Krishna says, Mam ekam saranam raj. Only me. Everywhere, saran mad manmana bhav mad bhaktaha mad jhajivam namaskuru. Everything only to me. So this is the Lord's statement. So here it is the assurance to the devotees. In this material world, activities for material enjoyment which are considered to be pious are also sinful. This is also sinful. That's why in the Bhagavatam, Vyasa Bhagavan says, Dharma pronchita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedhyam vastamatra vastu sevadam tapatriyo anmulanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Paririshwaraha Sadjo Hridya Vrijyatetra Krutibihi Susrushabhi Tatkshanat. This is Dharma Pronjitaha. Dharma Pronjitaha Kaitavo Yatra. This is Kaita Dharma, it is Dharma Dhakama Mokshara also. It is rejected. This is the state of Paramahamsa. It is for the Paramahamsas. Anyone who is coming to Paramahamsa, this Krishna consciousness, they are like in the similar way, Paramahamsa stage. Yannamade Sravanankidana Jet Prahona Jet Smarana Quachit Swado Pisadya Savana Kalpite Kutaha Punaste Bhagavan Darshanant. So the Devotee statement again at the end of this canto, she mentions Yannamade Sravanankidana Jet Prahona Jet Smarana Api Quachit Swado Pisadya Savana Kalpite Swado Pisadya. Even the dog eater can become elevated to the position Savanai Kalpate to qualified to perform sacrifices. Just by hearing Yannamadeya Sravanana Ketana Jat Prahavana Jat Smaranadapi Quachit at any point of time, if he is hearing and like that, he will be elevated. Swado Pisadjaha Savanai Kalpate, he will be qualified to perform sacrifices. Just by hearing your name and remembering like that. What to speak of the devotees who are always chanting for Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds and following regulative principles associating with the devotee? What to speak of those devotees? What to speak about them? So likewise, Devahuti Mata again glorifies at the end of this canto. So here, what it means here, anyone is just performing this material world, either material which are considered to be pious are also sinful. It will put them into the entanglement. For example, someone gives something in charity, and a needy person with a view to getting back the money 4 times increased, giving with the purpose of gaining something is called charity in the mode of passion. Dhanam, this is Desha Kali Patrecha, and this is Pratyupakarardham, Tadhanam, Rajasamsmritam. That is mode of passion. If you just Pratyupakarardham, if you are expecting something in return, that is Pratyupakar mode of passion. But it is as a matter of duty. As a matter of duty, if Desha Kale Patrecha, by the time, place, and circumstances, if you give to the desired person that charity, without expecting anything in return, as a matter of duty, that is in the mode of goodness. So here, everything done here is done in the mode of material nature. And therefore, all activities but service to the Lord are sinful. This is only the supreme. Everything is samsiddhir haritoshanam. अतः पुंविद विजयश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रमी विभागशः स्वनिष्ठस्य धर्मस्य samsiddhir haritoshanam. Everything only for the pleasure of the Lord, not for sense enjoyment. When we render service to the Lord and to please the Lord, then what happens? We automatically are part of it in that happiness. We also get happy. So here, because of sinful activities, we become attracted by the illusion of material attachment, and we think, Aham mameti, I am this body. I think of the body as myself, and of bodily possessions as mine. Atmajaya Satagara Pasudravina Bandhushu Niroda Mola Hridaya Atmanam Bahumanyate. Niroda Mola Hridaya. It is very strongly rooted in the heart. You think in such a way, think that it is mine. I'm very happy. This is my home. This is my kitchen. This is my living room. This is my bedroom. Likewise, this is my garden. Everything we identify with the body. And then I need to go to the office. Yes, my day is now completed. My day is started. I'm getting my money. This is Niruda Mola Hridaya. Manyate, he thinks that Atma Jayashtagar Pasudravina Bandhu, Niroda Mola Hridaya Atmanam Bahumanyate. I'm very happy. There is no greater person than me. Okay, likewise, one feels. This is all. Again, this morning, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, he describes one of the statements, the pearls of the pearls and jewels of his statements. The statement he gives from his. There he mentions, unless if one comes to Krishna consciousness, he will see so many challenges in his life. He will see so many challenges in his life. If he's seeing that he is very happily going with all sense of money, home, and everything, that means he is not in Krishna consciousness yet. Okay, that is one of the statements Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami he mentions. So here, aham mameti. But people think that Dehuti requested Lord Kapila to free her from the entanglement of false identification and false possession. It is very difficult, but we have to try. But when we are keep on chanting, we are spending time with chanting, and also somewhere or other, always chanting. And for associating with the devotee, you do not find a time to associate with the material nature, materialist things, material enjoyment. So in such a way, you are protected. That is, devotees association is very valuable. तुलयामलेवेनापि न स्वर्गं न अपुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य मच्चाणं किमुदाशिषः. Even Prithvi Maharaj, he also mentions that, oh my dear Lord, if you give even the kaivalya, the liberation, I do not nakamaye ata tadapyaham kvachin. At any point of time, I do not ask such kind of desire to get the liberation as well. He mentions Nayatra Yushmat Charanam Bhujasavaha, where there is no discussion of your topics. Nayatra Yushmat Charanam Bhujasavaha, that nectarian. If it is not happening, I do not want to go to that particular place. And he says, Vidastva. He says, Vidastye Karnaitam Yeshame Varaha. Karna, he wanted to have a million ears to hear um, to hear the devotees when they're speaking. Mahan Hridayan. So when they're speaking, Sauganjalubha Hrudiyeshu Krita Prasangaha. Again, this is bringing some statement from Dhruv Maharaja's prayers. Sauganjalubha Hrudiyeshu Krita Prasangaha. Their hearts are blossoming with so much of fragrance of Krishna Katha. So that is the association, devotees association. Dhruv Maharaj, he was praying in his dynasty. Prit Maharaj has appeared in the same lineage, and he also mentioning the same thing. Okay, that is I wanted to have devotees association. I wanted to have 1 million ears to hear the Krishna Katha from the devotees. And he also asked the devotional service. Again, if I get because I get a devotional service onto your lotus feet, and I may come for competition to goddess of fortune, there may be fighting between, I don't know, say, likewise, he mentions, Avyoryoho, Ekapati, Sprudo Kalihi, Nasyat, Krutatwacharana Ekatanayoho, Krutatwacharana Ekatanayoho. Myself, I also concentratedly serve your lotus feet. At the same time, Goddess of Fortune also doing that with concentration, the massaging of the Janudvayam Jala Jalochanaya Jananya. So very beautifully another angle. So Goddess of Fortune's service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So there may be a sprudha kalihi, there may be fight between us. So there may be. So I'm thinking like that, my dear Lord. Likewise, Pridhu Maharaj mentions to the Vishnu Bhagavan. Okay, there are very beautiful things. The way of his prayers, it is so relishing. And then also he mentions that in case if something happens, please be always with my side only. But what need is there for you to stay with the goddess of fortune? You're all abhiratasya kim thaya. Swayeva disne abhiratasya. You're always atmaram. Swayeva disne abhiratasya kim thaya. What need is there for you to associate with goddess of fortune? You're atmaram. You're always staying with the devotee side. Very beautiful things he mentions. When we have got such kind of things or spoken by the devotees, if we are hearing, he is asking for 1 million ears to hear. Okay, very beautifully says. At that point of time, we always remember the Lord. Okay, so this is just adding a few reflections here. As here Devhuti Mata is Atmedev Samuham Apakrishtam Tomarhasi Yo Avagraham Mameti Iti Etasmin Yojitastvaya. So just free me from your external energy. And then later on, she mentions to, my dear Lord, I have surrendered unto you. Please cut this material entanglement. And whomever you think that this particular person belongs to you, then what you will do, you will cut all entanglements, just like cutting a tree. Likewise, you would cut all the knots of the material entanglement. You will separate your devotee from material affairs. And now I also wanted to know what I am, what is the Purusha, what is the Prakriti. Now I am very interested. I am surrendering unto you. So please kindly describe and help me. Likewise, Devhuti surrenders. This is the shloka, surrendering shloka. Tam tvagataham saranam saranyam swabhritya samsarataroh putaram jijñasayaham prakrutehe purushasya namami saddharma vidam varistam. Tam tvagataham saranam saranyam. And here, tam tva, that person unto you, tam tva unto you, gataham, and I have come to and taking the shelter. Aham saranam saranyam. Saranam is shelter. Saranyam, worth taking shelter of. I have taken the shelter of that particular personality. Tantva gataham saranam saranyam swabhrutya samsara taroh kutaram. Swabhrutya is the devotees of the Lord, whom Lord thinks that he is my devotee. Swabhrutya, samsara taruh kutaram. Samsara is janma mrityu. This is samsruti, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshana darshan. All this samsara. Taroho, a tree. Samsara tree, material existence tree. Kutaram is the axe. If we have a axe in our hand, what will do? If we got the tree, we will cut that tree for different purposes. Okay, so here the Lord will cut that that tree of material existence, whom the Lord thinks that he is his devotee. Swabhrutya. So here we wanted to be one of the Bhrutya of the Lord. Then Madhyanma Palabidam Madhukaita Bhare Matpradhaneya Yesha Danugraha Yesha Eva Tadbhrutya Bhrutya Paricharaka Bhrutya 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 Iti Mam Smaralokanatha Kulashekara. So that is the Swabhrutya. So here we wanted to be servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those are Swabhrutya, Samsara Taruh Kutaram. For them, Lord will cut the material existence. Kutaram, when I just first have heard, Lord is cutting all the family attachments here. And then just was a bit surprised to see this particular word Kutaram, the axe, and Samsara. So but yes, this is the reality. One has to digest those cutting words, because in this world, we do not stay for longer. It is not permanent. And before we leave this body, this is called Nirvanam Vrujyati Manaha Tamasa Yatarchihi. So this is, in the mind itself, we are socially suiciding. Prabhupada says, we are socially suiciding. We do not attach to this any material world, materialistic people. Socially, we do not associate with, only the devotees. So socially, we are not part of them. You see, Nirvana, Vruchiti, Manaha, in the mind, we have been in that absorption. This is called Vairagya. So here, Jijñāsaya aham prakrutehe purushasya namami saddharma vidam varishtam. Jijñāsaya aham, and I am very much desired to know. And prakrutehe purushasya, what is the matter? And purushasya, what is the spirit or a man? Prakriti is the woman, the purusha is the man. So here, of matter or the prakriti, or purushasya is the spirit. Namami Saddharma Vidam Varishtam. I offer my obeisances, Saddharma of eternal occupation. Saddharma is eternal. Savai Pumsam Parodharmo. This is eternal occupation. Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Ito Bhakti Radhokshaje. Ahituki Apyajihara Yatma Suprasidati. When he is really situated in the eternal occupation, he will become completely satisfied. Yatma Suprasidati. So here, Namami Saddharma Vidam Varishtam. This is the eternal occupation. I offer my humble obeisances like that. Devotees, of course, the Kapil Bhagavan is his son, but still, Namami Saddharma. Devotee is seeing the Lord as the Kaita Bardhanaha, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as per Dhatuhu Samsmariti Vachaha. Vidam Varistam, Vidam of the knowers, Varistam onto the greatest. So the Lord knows all these things, present, past, future, and everything, all the knowledge. Okay, so this is Tam Swagataham Saranam Saranyam Swabhrutya Samsara Taroh Kutaram Jijñāsaya Aham Prakritehe Purushasya Namami Saddharma Vidam Varishtam. The translation, Dehuti continued, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only person of whom to take shelter. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you, who are the greatest of all transcendentalists. And I inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman and between spirit and matter. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request another two devotees? 2 paragraphs. Can I request anyone to read first paragraph, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Sankhya philosophy, as is well known, deals with Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or anyone who imitates the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an enjoyer, and Prakriti means nature. In this material world, material nature is being exploited by the Purushas, or the living entities. The intricacies in the material world of the relationship of the Prakriti and Purusha, or the enjoyed and the enjoyer, is called samsara, or material entanglement. Devhuti wanted to cut the tree of material entanglement, and she found the suitable weapon in Kapila Muni. The tree of material existence is explained in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as an ashwatha tree whose root is upwards and whose branches are downwards. It is recommended there that one has to cut the root of this material existential tree with the axe of detachment. What is the attachment? The attachment involves Prakriti and Purusha. The living entities are trying to lord it over material nature. Since the conditioned soul takes material nature to be the object of his enjoyment and he takes the position of the enjoyer, he is therefore called Purusha. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji. Naina
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, may I read please?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Devahuti questioned Kapila Muni, for she knew that only he could cut her attachment to this material world. The living entities, in the guises of men and women, are trying to enjoy the material energy. Therefore, in one sense, everyone is Purusha, because Purusha means enjoyer, and Prakriti means enjoyed. In this material world, both the so-called man and so-called woman are imitating the real Purusha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the enjoyer in the transcendental sense, whereas all others are Prakriti. The living entities are considered Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, matter is analyzed as apara, or inferior nature, whereas beyond this inferior nature, there is another superior nature, the living entities. Living entities are also Prakriti, or enjoyed, but under the spell of Maya. The living entities are falsely trying to take the position of enjoyers. That is the cause of samsara bandha, or conditional life. Devahuti wanted to get out of conditional life and place herself in full surrender. The Lord is Sharanya, which means the only worthy personality to whom one can fully surrender. Because he is full of all opulences, if anyone actually wants relief, the best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is also described here as Sad Dharma Vidam Parishtam. This indicates that of all transcendental occupations, the best occupation is eternal loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma is sometimes translated as religion, but that is not exactly the meaning. Dharma actually means that which one cannot give up, that which is inseparable from oneself. The warmth of fire is inseparable from fire. Therefore, warmth is called the dharma, or nature of fire. Similarly, sadharma means eternal occupation. That eternal occupation is engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The purpose of Kapila Dev's Sankhya philosophy is to propagate pure, uncontaminated devotional service, and therefore he is addressed here as the most important personality amongst those who know the transcendental occupation of the living entity. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so here is Sankhya philosophy is there are Sankhya philosophy Kapil Bhagavan described, which is like a devotional service. So, but there is no difference between how Krishna says in this Bhagavad Gita also. Lokesmin vivida nishta pura prokta maya nagham jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam jnana yogena karma yogena, two different paths. So one is the Sankhya philosophy. It goes here Sankhya philosophy, as is well known, deals with Prakriti and Purusha. So Purusha is the supreme personality of Godhead, only the Purushottamam. So he is only the enjoyer. Or anyone who imitates the supreme personality of Godhead as an enjoyer, and Prakriti means nature. So here, Purusha is anyone who is imitating the supreme personality of Godhead. But actually, the Purusha is the Krishna is the only Purusha. Again, there is one statement about the Mirabai going to the Vrindavan to seek Rupa Goswami, but Rupa Goswami says that I do not see any woman, but then the woman devotee, Mirabai says that, is there any man here? Here, I thought only Krishna is the man here, only Purusha in this Vrindavan. That says, yes. That is, Krishna is the only Purusha. That everyone else or belongs to Prakriti. They are to be enjoyed by the Lord only. So in this material world, material nature is being exploited by the Purushas or living entities. A living entity has got a tendency to enjoy, then it is called Purusha. Either it may be a dog or a cat or a fish or anything it wanted to enjoy, then it is having the propensity of the Purusha to enjoy. So the intricacies in the material world of the relationship of the Prakriti and Purusha, or the enjoyed and the enjoyer, is called samsara. This is called samsara or material entanglement. So he has got those desires, so he will come, and when living entity is placed, then he enjoys these pains and pleasures. That is entanglement. And Devahuti wanted to cut the tree of material entanglement, and she found the suitable weapon in Kapila Muni. So Kapila Muni, so he avidya samsaya grandim, who can cut the avidya samsaya grandim, to cut that knot. Then what happens? Bijjite hrudaya grandhi siddhante sarva samsayaha kshiyanti chasya karmani drushta evatmanishware. Drushta evatmanishware. Then he would see everything as they are with the transcendental vision. Once that knot, cut the tree of the material entanglement. So for the clear vision. Then the tree of material existence is explained in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as an Ashwadha tree. This is whose root is upwards and whose branches are downwards. Vardhamolam adashakam ashwadham prahuravayam chandam sesya parnani yastam veda savedavet. So whose root is, again Krishna says, narupa masiha. For that one, there you cannot find the root or the end in this material world. Everything are in the spiritual world only. Root is there, and also the end is also in the spiritual world only. So Krishna says that one. So how do you need to asanga sestrena dhudena chitva. Asanga sestrena. Asanga means cutting the association with the material world. Asanga sestrena dhudena chitva. Dhudena, very strongly, chitva, with a determined heart and determined mind. Dhudena chit, asanga sestrena dhudena chitva. Then he can cut it. So Krishna again, he mentions, I think here somewhere. Let me just, this one. Narupam asyeha tatopalabhyate na anto na cha adir na anto. There is no end. Na cha adihi. There is no beginning in this material world. Nacha sampratishta ashwadhamenam suvirodam moolam. This is called ashwadha tree. Suvirodam moolam, which is rooted strongly. And asanga sestrena dhudena chitva. Asanga sestrena. By the asanga sestrena, you can cut this one. In such a way, you can go back. Nirmana moha disanga dosha adhyatminicha vinurutta kamaha. And then Dvandir Vimuktaha Sukha Dukka Sanyer Gachanti Amodaha Padam Avayam Tat. So Nirmana Moha Jita Sanga Dosha, controlling, cutting Sanga Doshas. So these are all Kapil Bhagavan later on describes. Here Krishna is mentioning those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the materialist lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Gachanti amodaha Amodaha padam avyayam tat. Unbewildered. Amodaha padam avyayam. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that one and how to cut the root of this tree. It is recommended there that one has to cut the root of this material existence tree with the acts of detachment. This is Vairagya. Again, Asevyayam Prakutir Gunanam Jnanena Vairagya Vijrumbitena Yogena Maya Pitayat Bhaktya Mam Pratyagatmanam Ihavarunde. He says, Kapil Bhagavan says later on that Asevayayam Prakritir Gunanam, one should not serve the material nature. Jnanena Vairagya Vijrumbitena, knowledge and detachment. Vijrumbitena, by expanding that knowledge, progressing in that one. Vijrumbitena, Yogena Mai Arpitayat Bhaktya, by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yogena Mai Arpitayat Bhaktya, Mam Pratyagatmanam Ihavarunde, he will attain the perfection of human life while he is living in this body itself. So here the attachment should be cut. And this is acts of detachment. Detachment is a tool, like an axe. And what is attachment? The attachment involves Prakriti and Purusha. Living entities are trying to lord it over material nature. So because they are kept Prakriti, Purushaha Prakrusto hi Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Gunasangasya Sad Asadholi Janmasu. This is again Krishna says Purushaha Prakrustohi Tad Gunan Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Gunasangasya. Whenever he is kept, he is going through the pains and pleasures. He is experiencing these things. In the 13th chapter, Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga, Krishna says that Karanam Gunasangasya Sad Asadhoni Janmasu. He will kept into a particular place and a particular environment. He will go through the pains and pleasures. Okay, that is a Purusha is like that. Living entity wanted to lord it over material nature. And Lord is Praikalikam Sarichareshu Anuvartitamshaha. He knows present, past, and future of the living entities. Okay, likewise, he knows where to put that living entity. But we may be thinking, why I have kept in this form, why I am coming across this many people like that. But actually, it is by the arrange tam jiva karma padavim anuvartamana. Lord is arranging everything perfect. A person to person come in contact, it is by the arrangement of the Lord. Okay, everything is perfect. There is a proper reason for behind it. And here reason is only surrender to the Krishna only. That is the only point. Whatever the angle we see, you remember Krishna's lotus feet. Since the conditioned soul takes material nature to be the object of his enjoyment and he takes the position of the enjoyer, he is therefore called Purusha. This is the definition of Purusha. He is trying to, that propensity is there to enjoy. And there was the question Kapila Muni for, she knew that only he could cut attachment to this material world. The living entities in the guises of men and women are trying to enjoy the material energy. Therefore, in one sense, everyone is Purusha because Purusha means enjoyer. Okay, this is again enjoyer, Purusha's definition. In this material world, both the so-called men and so-called women are imitating the real Purusha. They're imitating. But actually, they are Prakriti. They belong to the marginal energy. They are meant for the Supreme Lord to enjoy when they are engaging in the devotional service for the Lord. Lord will enjoy. Bhoktar Mignatapasam Sarvaloka Namaskritam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhradam Sarvbhotanam Dhatva Mam Shanti Mruchati. One who knows that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are all to serve him, then he will be Shanti Mruchati, he will get the peace. Otherwise, if he thinks that he is the Purusha and enjoyer, then he is in entanglement. Okay, so here, Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually enjoyed in the transcendental sense, whereas all others are Prakriti. The living entities are considered Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, this matter is analyzed as Apara, Apareyam Itaspanyam, Vidhime Param Prakritim. Okay, this is inferior nature, this material world, and whereas beyond this inferior nature is there is another. This is Vidhime Param Prakritim, superior nature. Jiva Bhutam, the living entities, Mahabahu, Yedam Dharite Jagat. Living entities are also Prakriti are enjoyed, but under the spell of Maya, the living entities are falsely trying to take position of enjoyers. Yedam Dharite Jagat, they come to this material world because of that propensity. That is the cause of samsara bandha or conditional life. So this is again kama istaisterjnanaha prapajyanti anya devataha tam nimamastaya prukritya nita svaya. Prukritya nita svaya. They are conditioned by the material nature because of their desires. And Devhuti wanted to get out of that conditional life and place herself in full surrender. Tam tva gadaham saranam saranyam. Saranam Saranyam. So the Lord is Saranya, which means the only worthy personality to whom one can fully surrender, because he is full of all appliances. Again, Narada Muni says, Tarunam Ramaniyangam Aruneshtekshanadharam Pranatashrayanam Brahmnam Saranyam Karunarnavam. Saranyam Karunarnavam. He is the ocean of mercy, and he is to be taken shelter of. So he says to Dhruv Maharaj when he is going to penance. So he here again, Devhuti Mata says, Saranam Saranyam, Tam Tvagataham Saranam Saranyam. This is the person who is the, again, Kadam Prajapati also mentions, Tvam Suribhitatva Bhutsayadha, Sada Abhivadarhana Padapitam, Sada Abhivadarhana Padapitam, always worshipable lotus feet. Aishwarya Vairagya Yashobhoda Virya Shriya Purtam Aham Prapadje. The Lord is full of all six appliances. I am taking shelter of that supreme person, fully surrendering unto that person. Aham Prapadje. Okay, then what happens? If anyone actually wants relief, best course is to surrender unto the supreme personality. The Lord is described here as Saddharma Vidam Varishtam. Saddharma Vidam Varishtam. This indicates the all transcendental occupations, the best occupation is eternal living service. This is Paro Dharma. Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yeto Bhakti Radhokchaje, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma is sometimes translated as religion, but that is not exactly meaning. Dharma actually means that which one cannot give up. This is the natural constitutional position of a living entity. That is called dharma. Not only living entity, by of an object. Natural constitutional position of an object, which is inseparable from oneself. This is fire is inseparable from the warmthness. So that is its dharma. And liquid dharma is to go to the down, and the fire goes upwards. So tree nourishment goes upwards and human nourishment goes downwards. And animals nourishment goes parallel to the earth. So there are different dharmas are also there. Okay, and similarly, Saddharma means eternal occupation. That eternal occupation is engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Etanme janma lokesmin. Again, there is one Kapila Bhagavan describes Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Manomai Arpitam Stiram. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Manomai Arpitam Stiram. This is again at the end of this chapter only he describes that one. Just bringing that one is so that one last one. Etavanyeva lokesmin pumsam nishre pumsam nishre sodaya tirena bhakti yogena manomai arpitam stiram. This is the perfection of human life. Yes, so likewise here Prabhupada is describing a little bit early here. It is for our understanding. As we go through, then we see everything align our consciousness properly set in the mood, what Kapila Bhagavan is explaining. Okay, so here the purpose of Kapila's Sankhya philosophy is to propagate pure, uncontaminated devotional service, and therefore he is addressed here as the most important personality among us, those who know the transcendental occupation of the living entity. So he is the Ayam Siddhagana Dishaha. सांख्याचारैः सुसम्मतः लोके कपिल इत्याख्यं गन्ताति कीर्तिवर्धनः. Brahma says to Devhuti and Kardama Prajapati. So he Sankhyaacharaihi susammatah. Sankhyaacharaihi. Kapila Bhagavan, he propagates pure, uncontaminated devotional service. So he is addressed here as the most important personality. He is Siddhagana Adishaha. Siddhagana Adishaha is Lord of all the Siddhas. Sankhyaacharaihi susammatah. Okay, that is the here Prabhupada is explaining everything. Very beautiful, but there is so much thing to say, but we have just time limited, but still have taken so many minutes for this, but it is the nectar part. I stop there. I also request the devotees. Can I request devotees if you wanted to recite this shloka? It is very beautiful shloka. If you wanted to repeat at least 3 times behind me, wherever it is possible, kindly unmute and recite line by line. Tantvagataaham saranam saranyam
Tvam
Saranam
Sharanam
Saranyam
Saranyam
स्वभृत्य संसार तरुः पुटारम्
Sobhritya
Svabhritya
Samsara
samsaratarokuttaram
Taram
जिज्ञासयाहं प्रकृतेः पुरुषस्य
जिज्ञास्ययाहं प्रकृते परस्य यस्य
नमामि सद्धर्मविदां वरिष्ठम्
नमामि
Namami Sadharma Vidam Varishtam
Vidavavishtam
तं त्वागताहं शरणं शरण्यं
Tam
तं
Tom
तदागतां शरणं
Gataham
शरण्यं
Saranam Saranyam
स्वभृत्य संसार तरुः पुटारम्
Sobhrita Samsara Tarokutaram
जिज्ञासयाहं प्रकृतेः पुरुषस्य
Asayaham
Jignasayaham
Prakriti
Prakriti
Purushasya
Purushasya
नमामि सद्धर्मविदां वरिष्ठम्.
नमामि
Namami
सद्धर्मविदां
Sadharma Vidam Varishtam
Okay. तं त्वागताहं शरणं शरण्यं
तत्तं
Tam
तं
Tam
Tagataham
Gataham
Sharanam
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 Sharanyam
स्वभृत्य संसार तरुः पुटारम्
Sobhrita
त्वभृत्य
Samsara
संसारतरोकुतारं
Tarokaram
जिज्ञासयाहं प्रकृतेः पुरुषस्य
जिज्ञास्ययाहं
Jignasayaham
प्रकृतेः
Jignasyayaha
पुरुषस्य
Prakriti
Prakriti
Purushasya
नमामि तद्धर्मविदां वरिष्ठम्.
Namami
Namami Sadharma
Sadharma
Vidam
वरिष्ठं
Varishtam
Varishtam
Anyone like to start reciting? Gayatri Mataji, would you like to go?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tam Tvagataaham Sharanam Sharanyam Swabhritya Samsara Taro Kutaram Jignasayaham Prakrite Purushasya Namami Sadharma Vidham Varishtam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Babuji. Tam tvagataaham saranam saranyam svabhritya samsarataraokutaram jigyasayaham prakritehe purushasya namami saddharma vidam varishtam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone? Gayatri Mataji. Jai Mataji.
तं त्वागताहं शरणं शरण्यं स्वभृत्य संसारतरोः कुठारं जिज्ञासयाहं प्रकृतेः पुरुषस्य नमामि सद्धर्मविदां वरिष्ठम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Lakshmi Mataji.
तं त्वागताहं शरणं शरण्यं सबभृत्या संसारतो कुठारं जिज्ञासं प्रकृते पुरुषस्य नमामि सद्म विद्यां वरिष्ठम्
Very beautiful, Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji next. Sakshi Mataji, Sati Mataji, Naini Mataji, want to go one after another?
Can I try, Prabhuji?
Sakshi Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Tam tva gataham sharanam sharanyam swabhrutya samsara taroha kutharam jigyasayaham prakrute purushasya namami saddharma vidam varishtham.
Very good. iPad.
Hare
Naina
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I can try, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Tam tva gataham sharanam sharanyam swa pratya samsara taroha kutaram jigyasayaham prakrate purushaya namami saddharma vidam varishtham. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. iPad. Yes. Anyone else? Devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. May I try,
Well,
Prabhuji?
yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. Tam tva gataham saranam saranyam svabhritya sansara taroha kutaram jigyasayaham prakatiha purasasya namami siddharma vidam varishtam. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, any other devotees wanted to try? Shri Jekeshwari Mataji wanted to try. Any other devotee? Okay, so very beautiful. Thank you so much. Tam tva gataham saranam saranyam subhrutya samsara taroh putaram jignasaya aham prakutehe purushasya namami saddharma vidam varishtam. Very beautiful shloka. It is memorable shloka. In fact, all 25th chapter can be memorized very easily. If one practices a couple of days, one can remember all the shlokas of 25th chapter. Every shloka is so nectarian. Okay, but this one is also one of the important ones. Okay, I stop there and I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything, kindly ask questions or kindly share. Hare Krishna. There are no questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
I was just reflecting that if we see the current world situation, when we are talking of Purusha and Prakriti, and we are seeing leaders like Trump,
Yeah.
our Purusha who want all these elements, rare earth elements, and they want to grab land,
Yes.
and they forget their real position.
Yes, Mataji. So here, when the Lord says to Brahma, he says, one of the Chatushlaki Bhagavata, Riyadham yat pratiyeta, na pratiyeta chatmani, tad vidyat atmano mayam, yata bhaso yata tamaham. So people who are not connecting to the Supreme Lord, it appears, but actually they are all engaging so many of material activities. It is the Lord's illusory energies working. There are two kinds of illusory energies. One is the uh, throwing illusory energy. Another one is the covering illusory energy. So it was described here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chatushlaki Bhagavata. This is what is happening in this material world. We can just very easily understand in the second chapter, 9th canto, shlokas, I think 36 or 37 here. So illusory energy. This is throwing illusion. So namely the covering influence. This is pratyakshatmika. So there is a two words, and then this is pratyakshatmika, throwing influence, illusion. Throwing the living entities into the darkness of ignorance, and by the covering influence, she covers the eyes of men with poor fund of knowledge. Even though they are nearer to the devotees and the Lord, they do not really understand the devotional service. This is one end one illusion energy, covering illusion energy. Another one is a throwing influence. This is again here this shloka it is described here. It's a very big shloka. Rutyardham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidhyat atmano mayam yata abhaso yata tamaham. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. It is Lord illusory energy. So here, so many politicians like the Trump, he wanted to grab land, he wanted to take the oil from different countries. These are all just again, the Lord uses some particular powerful personalities for different kinds of purposes. When again, this is
So why is this happening, Prabhuji? Because leaders are supposed to be a good example. What is the hope for the future generations when they see leaders like this?
So this one, it is not even permanent. He would stay hardly 4 years. Another 3 more years, one has to bear such kind of no one is permanent. So after that, once again, he will see the light. Another person will occupy that position. So it keeps on going, always fighting. It is not new. It always there. It was in the past, in the golden ages as well. So Krishna says, Sutta Goswami says that एवं नृपाणां चितिभारधर्मणम् अक्रोहिणीभिः परिवृत्ततेषां विधाय वैरं स्वसुनो यथानलं मितो वदेन उपरतो निरायुधः. So Krishna made them to fight among themselves, and all the soldiers of 18 Akshaunis, they were killed in the Kurukshetra battle. So now, what is happening in this material world? We see so many people are killing the innocent animals, killing other people unnecessarily in the name of the religion or so many other factors. And the innocent animals, the cows are being fed as food to other people. It is so horrible because nothing can go vain. So they have to come through this entanglement. How they will be butchered? So take a birth in some kind of country where all people will be in one slaughtering all the people. So we see so many people who are killed in the past few days. Why? Because of this nature. They have killed so many. We do not say directly, but here the karma will always follow behind the living entity. Karma will always follow. And they will take appropriate birth in the similar kind of places. They have to go through that sufferings. But we do not know. That is, only Lord only knows. Because we have seen some of the past tense, reincarnation. There are so many examples of reincarnation. In the past, they have ended their life in one way and they have started in the next life. And it has continued. For example, Santi Devi in India, 1926, she was born, and then 23 years after giving a birth to third child at the age of 23, she left her body. And then after a year, she has taken birth in she left her body in the Madras home and she taken birth in the Delhi home. Later on, when she became 4 years old, she was remembering, and this is my past life. And then there is the world famous reincarnation story of that Lubdi Devi. But like that, there are 10 other different stories in the world. Of course, just only the innumerable stories. But if you just look at the ChatGPT, it will give all the examples. Can you please tell me about the reincarnation of a soul? One example. I want to 20 examples. It will bring all those things, the people named and their previous name, current name, why they will say each and everything. Because this particular thing is the reincarnation. The karma always goes with the living entity. But this theology does not exist with any other religions at all. It is only with the Sanatana Dharma. It will give real constitutional position. That theology, no other thing can. Because of that, because lacking the proper science of theology, everyone are failed in protecting the peace of this material world. They do not have, because everyone are trying to. This is my nation, discriminating by the nation, color, gender in so many ways. This is living in thou shall not kill. Kill means manufacturing it as a murder, just limiting it to only the humans. So everything else can be slaughtered. That is not right. So this is when the theology is properly situated, properly propagated as per Sanatana Dharma, then we wouldn't see this kind of discrepancies or conflicts between the religions also. But
Thank you,
again,
Prabhuji.
Lord arranges. This is whenever there is a burden on the earth too much, Lord arranges. Evam rupanam chiti bhara janmanam. Chiti bhara. Bhara is the burden. Chiti bhara janmanam. Apyohinibihi parivritta tejasam. And there is a country, for example, Russia and Ukraine, they have been fighting, and in the news they have been saying our soldiers, 50,000 or 60,000 soldiers were died unnecessarily. If one person, if he has accepted that in the beginning, that okay, we do not want to join with the European, we will stay as it is, and then we will be friendly with everyone. It's simple, a person's ego, because he does not want to accept. He has, so there shouldn't be any life loss at all. Just one ego, it is making butchering so many Chitibhar Janmanam, actually, so many people are being died. And in those countries, how it happens, even though there is so much of land, they butcher so many cows. This is how our scriptures, Bhagavatam, it gives enlightenment for this is a way of life. Okay, there is much to, but it is a time again. Thank you, Mataji. It is a very beautiful question.
Prabhuji, can I just add on to that? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for that wonderful class. But just to add on to what you said, these nations, such as Trump's, for example, they want to establish Christianity. Are they not a threat to the Sanatan Dharma? Because they are saying we are a white nation, we are we believe in Christianity, and to them their God is different. But is there not a threat to other religions around the world, such as Sanatan Dharma?
No, I would say no, because they're all temporary things. They have got starting time, there is an ending time, because there is no science or behind them. There is no Vijnan. It does not describe amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kyantirajhavam, acharyopasanam. These things are not at there. Krishna says these are all adhyatma dhyanityatvam, tattva jnanarda darshanam. So he says, Yeta jnanamiti ajnanam yadatu anyata. Jnanam, this is the knowledge. But this knowledge is not in there. They are not eternal. They are temporary. They will come and go. But it comes kind of a discrepancy. Sanatanastum purusho mato me. Arjuna says in his praise, my dear Lord, you protect Sanatana Dharma all the time.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to add something on this. How Hindus were misguided, because when there was a great plague, like disease, the Christian, they got antibiotic, they put in the sacred water, and they make people drink it, and people get well. So people thought, okay, the sacred water is great. So they all converted into Christian. Actually, there were antibiotics in that sacred water, which nobody knew. That's how they converted many Hindus. Also, they gave money. So Hindus were so-called poor, so they would just go to them. That's how. But nowadays, people are being educated. You get greatest scientists is in India, from India. You got the CEO of Google or whatever, big jobs. So they have the knowledge. It is not easy to kind of misguide them unless they want to be misguided, right? So as you said, there is a starting and an end. They won't be able to do it again. And nowadays, young, they do research and accept anything, right? So yes, as you say, thank you for that. On the nation, not only Hindus, but also nowadays, Westerners are also doing research on.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, so and again, so when we are, I think, go on, Mataji.
They have done so many research and you will see, I think, more than 2,000 cases, and they have evidence. Those people, those children who claim, who can go and they can show where they lived and they can give evidence of their previous life. So these two great doctors will know about them, about reincarnation also. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, so here this kind of rebirth, it would fail all other religions because they do not have reincarnation, that concept at all within those religions or theologies. So they all get failed because this is where imperfect senses, imperfect knowledge, and tend to make mistakes, tend to cheaters and cheated. Because of that, no theology can give right to accept the Sanatana Dharma. Thank you, Mataji. Pati Mataji, you were mentioning something.
I'm fine. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, we are very fortunate to at least get the knowledge for right behavior, right dharma.
Yes.
We are very fortunate.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Even Krishna consciousness. So if we look at a few years back, though Krishna consciousness existed all the time, Prabhupada has stressed again 50 years ago, but still we have come to Krishna consciousness few years ago. Before that, we were also in the similar kind of illusions.
Yes.
But we are very fortunate. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
It always expands. Krishna consciousness, there is no stop. It will always expand. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. It will never ever decline. It will always increase. Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, if there is nothing else, then we can conclude. Or if you have got anything to ask or share, kindly do so. Okay, no questions, no sharings. We shall conclude. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय।
Srila
Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada ki
jai.
jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Ki
Thank you,
jai.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the lovely class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.